If you have been told that a miracle is coming, but your bank account tells a different story, there is something you need to understand. Waiting for divine intervention while ignoring the discipline required to sustain it is not faith. It is a refusal to take responsibility dressed in spiritual language. I have watched people pray for financial breakthroughs while their budgets remain chaotic, their debts unmanaged, and their spending impulsive. They believe the miracle will fix what they have not been willing to face. But here is the truth they are not being told. Miracles collapse without structure, and blessings evaporate without stewardship. Today, we are going to examine the principle that separates those who receive lasting transformation from those who remain stuck, waiting for rescue that never comes. I am Rabbi Ben, and today we are going to look at something that many people over 40 know too well. It is the feeling of being surrounded by promises of breakthrough while remaining stuck in the same patterns year after year. You have heard the message. You have believed the message. You may have even acted on parts of the message. And yet, the financial stability you hoped for has not arrived. The relationships you wanted to repair remain strained. The clarity you prayed for still feels distant. This is not about whether you have faith. This is about whether your faith has been partnered with the kind of structure that allows miracles to take root. I have watched families wait for rescue when what they needed was a foundation. I have seen good people confuse spiritual hope with practical preparation. The tension you feel is real. It is the gap between what you believe should happen and what you have built the capacity to sustain. Hope is necessary. Hope is what keeps us moving forward when circumstances feel heavy. But hope alone does not create the soil in which blessings grow. When hope becomes louder than progress, it often means we have externalized our responsibility. We have placed the outcome in someone else's hands while neglecting the work that readiness requires. I speak from lived experience. I have stood in rooms with people who prayed for financial opportunity but had not organized their spending or savings. I have counseled men and women who asked for restored relationships but had not changed the habits that damaged those relationships in the first place. I have listened to parents who wanted their children to respect them but had not modeled the discipline they demanded. This is not judgment. This is recognition. The emotional weight of wanting change is real. The frustration of feeling left behind is real. But wanting is not the same as preparing. Believing is not the same as becoming. If you are tired of waiting, it may be time to stop waiting and start building. There is a quiet danger that settles into a life when we begin to believe that someone or something outside ourselves will arrive to fix what we have not managed. I have seen this pattern repeat itself in the lives of adults who have endured setbacks, financial strain, or broken trust. After enough disappointment, it becomes easier to hope for rescue than to take responsibility for repair. This is not laziness, this is exhaustion dressed as faith. The issue is not that you lack dedication. The issue is that dedication without direction creates motion without progress. Passive hope feels productive because it keeps the heart engaged. It allows you to believe you are doing something by believing in something, but belief without action is a form of waiting. And waiting, when it replaces planning, becomes a slow erosion of personal agency. I want you to see the connection between this mindset and the outcomes you have experienced. When we externalize responsibility, we also externalize control. We place our financial future in the hands of chance. We place our relational health in the hands of others. We place our emotional stability in the hands of circumstances. This is not faith. This is avoidance. The man who waits for a windfall without managing his debts will remain in debt even if the windfall arrives. The woman who waits for her marriage to improve without addressing her own contribution to the conflict will find that even repaired trust collapses under unexamined habits. The parent who waits for respect without building character will continue to feel dismissed. Rescue fantasies feel safer than responsibility because they require no immediate change, but they weaken the very muscles you need to hold on to opportunity when it comes. You do not need a miracle dropped into your lap. You need to become someone capable of sustaining one. That shift begins when you stop waiting and start preparing. Let me tell you what I have observed over years of working with people who believed they were ready for transformation. A man receives an unexpected financial opportunity. He views it as the answer to his prayers. Within months, the money is gone because he never built the discipline to manage it. A woman is given a second chance in a fractured relationship. She sees it as divine intervention. Within weeks, the same conflicts return because the underlying patterns were never addressed. This is not about divine timing. This is about human readiness. Even the most generous blessing will collapse without internal structure and external systems to support it. The miracle is not the problem. The lack of preparation is the problem. You can receive exactly what you asked for and still lose it if you have not built the foundation to sustain it. I want you to understand this as a moral principle, not a spiritual failure. Stewardship is the ability to receive, manage, and multiply what has been entrusted to you. When you lack stewardship, opportunity becomes burden. The promotion you prayed for creates stress because you never learned to manage your time. The inheritance you hoped for disappears because you never learned to budget or invest. The reconciliation you longed for falls apart because you never addressed your communication patterns. Structure is what allows progress to endure. Structure includes your financial systems, your daily routines, your relational boundaries, and your emotional discipline. Without structure, miracles evaporate. With structure, even small opportunities compound into legacy. This is why I say that expecting a miracle without preparing for one is not faith. It is irresponsibility dressed in spiritual language. If you want lasting change, you must build the container strong enough to hold it. That work begins now, not after the blessing arrives. If this resonates, write in the comments the biggest obstacle you are currently facing in preparing for the life you say you want. There is an ethical law that governs progress in every area of life. It is simple, ancient, and non-negotiable. Movement precedes outcome, action precedes result, preparation precedes opportunity. This is not motivational language. This is observable reality. The farmer who waits for the harvest without planting seeds will starve. The builder who waits for the house without laying the foundation will remain without shelter. The student who waits for knowledge without studying will fail the test. Yet I have watched countless adults live as though this law does not apply to them. They wait for financial stability without creating a budget. They wait for strong relationships without practicing honesty. They wait for respect without building character. They frame this waiting as faith, but what they are practicing is avoidance. Faith is not passive. Faith is disciplined partnership between belief and behavior. I want you to see the difference clearly. Believing that change is possible is the beginning. Acting as though change is your responsibility is the continuation. Miracles, when they occur, respond to movement. They align with effort. They amplify preparation. They do not replace it. This is why two people can pray for the same outcome, yet only one receives it. The difference is not favoritism. The difference is readiness. The person who prepares creates the conditions under which blessing can land and take root. The person who only hopes creates the conditions under which blessing passes by because there is no place for it to stay. If you want to see change in your finances, start managing what you have now with integrity. If you want transformation in your relationships, start showing up with consistency and honesty today. If you want clarity about your purpose, start organizing your time and commitments this week. Movement creates momentum. Momentum attracts opportunity. This is the ethical law. I need to address a confusion that has quietly undermined many people seeking transformation. They have confused ethical faith with lottery thinking. Lottery thinking is the belief that sudden, unearned intervention will bypass the need for discipline, effort, or delayed gratification. It treats life like a game of chance where the right prayer or the right moment will produce a jackpot that solves everything instantly. This is not how sustainable success is built. Sustainable success grows through patience, consistency, and the accumulation of small, reliable decisions over time. It is the result of showing up when no one is watching. It is the fruit of honoring commitments when emotions say otherwise. It is the legacy of choosing integrity over convenience again and again until integrity becomes your reputation. Lottery thinking is seductive because it offers relief without responsibility. It promises transformation without the discomfort of change. It appeals to the part of us that is tired, frustrated, or impatient. But I have never seen lottery thinking produce anything lasting. I have seen it produce debt, broken trust, and wasted years. I have seen it leave families stuck in cycles they could have broken if they had committed to the slower, harder path of building something real. The psychological trap is this: chasing sudden breakthroughs trains you to dismiss steady progress as insignificant. You begin to view discipline as boring. You view patience as weakness. You view slow growth as failure. And in doing so, you reject the very process that creates the capacity to hold a blessing when it arrives. Ethical faith respects the process. It honors the work. It understands that every lasting structure is built one decision, one habit, one choice at a time. If you want financial freedom, you must learn to respect slow, stable progress. If you want relational health, you must practice daily kindness and honesty. If you want peace, you must build routines that protect your mind and your time. This is not glamorous, but this is what works. I want to introduce you to a concept that will change how you approach every area of your life. It is called stewardship. Stewardship is the ethical management of time, money, health, and relationships. It is the practice of treating what you have been given not as your possession to consume, but as your responsibility to cultivate. Stewardship is not about how much you have. It is about what you do with what you have. I have seen people with modest income build wealth, strong families, and lasting legacies because they practice stewardship. I have also seen people with significant resources lose everything because they treated abundance as entitlement rather than responsibility. The difference is not talent. The difference is not luck. The difference is how they managed what was placed in their hands. Stewardship begins with honoring the small things. The person who cannot manage $100 responsibly will not manage $1,000 responsibly. The person who cannot show up on time for a commitment will not be trusted with greater responsibility. The person who cannot control their words in conflict will not be given influence in peace. Capacity grows when responsibility is practiced daily in the decisions that no one else sees. This is why opportunity often follows reliability rather than charisma. Employers promote the person who finishes what they start. Lenders trust the person who pays on time. Communities respect the person who keeps their word. Investors back the person who demonstrates discipline. Blessing does not chase potential. Blessing follows proof. When you practice stewardship, you signal to the world and to yourself that you are trustworthy. You build a reputation that opens doors. You develop habits that sustain growth. You create systems that allow you to receive more without collapsing under the weight of it. This is the real spiritual currency, not words, not wishes, not waiting, but the daily unglamorous practice of managing well what you already have. Let me synthesize everything I have shared into one principle that will determine whether transformation occurs in your life. You must become the person who can sustain a miracle before the miracle arrives. This is not about worthiness. This is about readiness. Many people miss blessings, not because they were undeserving, but because they were unprepared. I want you to think about emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is the ability to manage disappointment without bitterness, to delay gratification without resentment, and to face hard truths without collapsing. It is the foundation of every strong relationship and every successful venture. Without emotional maturity, even good opportunities create chaos. The promotion becomes overwhelming. The reconciliation becomes unstable. The windfall becomes a burden. I want you to think about disciplined habits. Disciplined habits are the daily routines that protect your health, your time, your focus, and your resources. They are what allow you to show up consistently even when motivation fades. They create the structure that holds your life together when external circumstances shift. Without disciplined habits, progress is temporary. You make gains, then lose them. You build momentum, then abandon it. I want you to think about internal order. Internal order is the alignment between what you believe and how you live. It is the integrity that refuses to compromise values for convenience. It is the clarity that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. Without internal order, you are easily swayed. You chase trends, you follow crowds, you make decisions based on emotion rather than principle. Transformation must occur within you before manifestation occurs around you. The miracle you are waiting for is not an event. It is a capacity. It is the ability to receive, manage, and multiply what is given. If you build that capacity through maturity, discipline, and order, the opportunities will come. And when they come, you will be ready. If this principle resonates, share in the comments which insight has challenged or clarified your thinking most deeply. Now we move from understanding to action. Understanding without application is entertainment. I am not here to entertain you. I am here to equip you. So let us talk about practical preparation. Practical preparation is the work you do before opportunity arrives. It is building the systems, routines, and foundations that allow blessings to land and grow rather than evaporate. Start with your finances. If you do not know where your money goes each month, you are not managing it. You are hoping it manages itself. Create a written budget. Track every expense for 30 days. Identify where you are losing money to convenience, impulse, or neglect. Then build a plan. Allocate funds toward debt reduction, savings, and investment. This is not complicated. This is disciplined. Move to your relationships. If you want restoration or deeper connection, stop waiting for the other person to change first. Assess your own contribution to the conflict or distance. Are you defensive? Are you dishonest? Are you absent? Choose one behavior to address this week. Apologize where you have been wrong. Show up where you have been absent. Speak truth where you have been silent. Relationships improve when someone takes responsibility first. Examine your personal routines. What time do you wake up? How do you spend your first hour? What do you consume mentally and emotionally throughout the day? Your routines either build you or erode you. There is no neutral ground. If your mornings are chaotic, your days will be reactive. If your evenings are undisciplined, your rest will be shallow. Structure your time deliberately. Protect your energy intentionally. Preparation is an act of faith expressed through action. It says, I believe change is coming, so I am building the foundation to receive it. It says, I am not waiting passively. I am partnering actively. When you prepare, you honor the process. When you honor the process, you position yourself for the outcome. This is how miracles are sustained. I want to explain why some people seem to attract opportunity while others remain overlooked. It is not luck. It is not favoritism. It is reputation. Reputation is what people say about you when you are not in the room. It is built through consistency, honesty, and reliability. And it determines far more of your success than talent ever will. Consistency means you do what you said you would do when you said you would do it. You show up on time. You finish what you start. You follow through even when it is inconvenient. Over time, consistency creates trust. Trust creates opportunity. People offer positions, partnerships, and resources to those they trust. If you are inconsistent, you train people not to rely on you. And when they do not rely on you, they do not promote you, invest in you, or recommend you. Honesty means you speak truth even when it costs you. You admit mistakes. You correct errors. You refuse to manipulate or deceive for short-term gain. Honesty builds credibility. Credibility opens doors that charisma cannot. I have watched people with average skills build extraordinary careers because they were known for their integrity. I have also watched brilliant people destroy their futures because they lied once and lost their reputation permanently. Reliability means people know what to expect from you. You are steady. You are dependable. You do not swing between extremes. You manage your emotions. You honor your commitments. Reliability is rare, and because it is rare, it is valuable. The reliable person gets the call when something important needs to be done. The unreliable person gets overlooked no matter how talented they are. These habits compound over time. Every choice to be consistent, honest, and reliable adds weight to your reputation. Every choice to cut corners, manipulate, or disappear subtracts from it. Your reputation is your social and professional currency. Protect it, build it, honor it. Because when opportunity arrives, it will come through the trust you have earned, not the skills you claim to have. I want to leave you with a reframing that changes everything. The miracle is not incoming. The miracle is under construction. It is not an event waiting to happen to you. It is a person being built within you. Every disciplined choice you make, every boundary you set, every commitment you honor, every truth you speak is laying another stone in the foundation of who you are becoming. You are not waiting for God to intervene. You are partnering with the process that creates the capacity to receive intervention. You are not hoping for circumstances to change. You are building the character that sustains change when it comes. This is the dignity of adulthood. This is the responsibility of the second half of life. You are no longer a child waiting to be rescued. You are a steward being entrusted with legacy. Legacy is not what you leave behind when you die. Legacy is what you build while you live. It is the financial stability you create so your children do not start from zero. It is the relational health you model so your family knows what love looks like. It is the integrity you practice so your name carries weight. It is the discipline you demonstrate so those watching you learn that consistency wins. I know this path is slower than what you hoped for. I know it requires more from you than you wanted to give. But I also know it works. I have seen families transformed, not by sudden windfalls, but by sustained stewardship. I have seen individuals reclaim their dignity, not through rescue, but through responsibility. I have seen communities strengthened, not by charismatic leaders, but by reliable servants. The miracle you have been praying for is being answered in the person you are becoming. Own that process. Embrace the work. Trust the timeline. Build with patience. Lead with integrity. And when the opportunity comes, you will be ready. Not because you hoped, but because you prepared. If you are ready to act, write in the comments one clear commitment or decision you will implement starting this week. Let that be your handshake with the future you are building.